You know, it stings right now. Proud of that locker room. You sit in that locker room with a team that started out with a mission and a bold tagline, front office campaign that we were going to burn it down and take the next step as an organization and a team. And from the moment a training camp started, we never shied from that and handled the pressure. And for a coach like myself that's always prided the teams that I've always coached, never too high and never too low, man, sitting in this hotel room here in Washington and looking at that Ferris wheel outside of our hotel windows and knowing that this season included some highs, and looking at that Ferris wheel and knowing that there's at times when you're low. And they fought through those moments the entire season and put themselves in an unbelievable position to win their first championship. I think when the sting goes away, if we would tell them that we get to check it up with 10 minutes to go with a 2-point lead in Game 5 of winner-take-all game, I think we would play that 10 minutes over and over and over again. In the game, we're up 70-67, I'm guessing. You guys can fact check me. But my mind tells me that they have done an unbelievable job one-on-one in the post all game. We've defended the arc really well, but they're pulling at you because they've been so successful with points in the paint, and they've been successful playing one-on-one in the low post, that we get caught on a little bit of an in-between dig, and they kick it out, and Cloud makes a three, and all of a sudden it's 70-70. And I think at that stretch, they go on a 13-2 run. I stopped counting after that. But that 13-2 run when we had a 3-point lead was the deciding run in the game. We only made 5 field goals in the fourth quarter. I thought they got really physical with us. I thought our spacing got shrinked with some of the physicality, and we didn't execute. And when it was all said and done, they played a better 10 minutes in that fourth quarter and deserved the championship.
Curt, first question to your right in the first row.
Hi, Curt. Alexa Philby with the Hartford Current. I was hoping you could just speak to the legacy you think this team will leave. I know obviously the front office campaign and your players felt that you were disrespected all season long. You were able to play really right into the last 10 minutes of this season to fight for a championship. What do you think this group has meant for the franchise and for the WNBA as a whole?
Yeah, you know, we told them in the locker room after the game, and I used this. We have an introductory song with your introductory highlight video as you play right before you announce the starting lineups. And in that, it talks about being legendary. And I told them that they became household names in this series. Everyone's going to know their name now. And where we were considered a team without a mega superstar, we were forced to trade a number 1 overall draft pick weeks before the start of the season. And that locker room bonded together and said nothing can derail us. And so they became legendary. They became household names. And they were not considered mega stars. Well, that locker room's filled with a bunch of mega stars, and they proved that, and everyone's going to know who they are for the rest of their careers. So I'm really excited. I think the energy, the fan base is re-energized. You know, we took the next step after a couple disappointing playoffs. And we all know it's not an easy market always. We're trying to fight for the small market franchise in pro sports, and so proud of our fan base and so proud of where the organization and franchise is again.
Curt, next question, first row to your left.
Hey Curt, Doug Farmer with the AP. Congrats on a wonderful season. That fourth quarter was somewhat reminiscent of the other night. I mean, tight game, came down the last couple of minutes, plays made. It seemed that tonight their defense stepped up when they needed to win the game. Is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah, I thought their physicality defensively, made better plays in the fourth quarter. It's funny, if you would have told me that, crystal ball, Curt, what do you think? Washington makes 4 threes tonight. How do you think the outcome's going to be? And I would have told you wow, we're in good shape. All series long, we won the points in the paint battle, and tonight they won clearly the points in the paint. And they just played very, very good one-on-one basketball, and they put you in dilemma. Do you double down and give up open threes, or do you play and challenge us to get stops one-on-one? And they were good in the low post, and just when you may try to counter and look at some doubles, then they hit a big three to start their run. They were just better down the stretch, and defensively, it wasn't anything more than they were really physical. And I thought that they were the physical team when they needed it most down the stretch in a close game.
Curt, front row center.
Curt, congratulations on your season. Howard Mandel for New York Times. With John Paul Jones specifically, and the fact that she was so aggressive, so present early on, I'm hoping to take me through both your decision making to have her play through 2 and then 3 fouls late in that first half, and just generally speaking, what you think we've learned about John Paul Jones in this series as a whole.
Well, first off, we all know she's a superstar. She's one of the premier rebounding players in the world. The versatility is only going to continue to get better. She can score the ball on the outside. She can score with her back to the basket, and is only getting better and better at that way. She's an unselfish, quiet superstar that just has a huge game. In terms of tonight, we rolled the dice a little bit, playing her and extending her after her third foul, and then got nervous that they could isolate her and maybe pick up that force, so we had to sit her down. But it's a winner-take-all game. You got to let these guys play through some of their fouls, but with the dedication on their part schematically to throw the ball inside, it's hard. They have counters. They're good one-on-one players, and they can put you in foul trouble. So we had to pick our places. I didn't want to take AT out, but needed just to have her take a seat and take a deep breath with those 2 fouls in the first quarter. So with all that said, with all the foul trouble, we weathered it, and just we got outplayed in the fourth quarter, and that's a credit to Washington.
Curt, to your right in the first row.
Hortensia Johnson, the undefeated. Speaking of Jonquil, with everything that happened with her home country at the beginning of September, how do you think she weathered all of that through the playoffs and then tonight?
Yeah, amazing. Obviously, her home country of the Bahamas means so much to her, and she's an icon in the Bahamas. And for her to take on, her and Buddy taking on that leadership role to raise funds and raise opportunity to provide relief to so many, says a lot about her. And knowing that she was doing that in the midst of such a difficult schedule that we all undertake in the WNBA, she just that's the kind of person she is. She's just truly remarkable when you get to know her. Has this unbelievable personality, laid back, but can really turn that switch when she's on the court and be a beast around the rim.
Curt, we have about two or three more questions, and then we have our Connecticut players. Next question, standing to your left, Curt.
Curt, you get it to 9 points. JJ makes her 4th foul. She goes to the bench. Did you get a sense at that point, the rest of the way, that the momentum or sort of guys were starting to put on your heels a little bit there?
Yeah, again, it's a 2-point game to start the fourth quarter, and we could execute better offensively, but we were playing our guts out, and they made more plays. And in that 13-2 run, when it was 70-67, was the difference. We had to play stretches without JJ at times, and they in that stretch they went at Bree Jones and were able to accumulate some fouls to get to the foul line. We went with Morgan, and they did a good job with Emma in those stretches. But ultimately, it came back to that one run in the fourth quarter that we just couldn't sustain.
2 more questions. Sitting second row to your left, Curt.
Curt, I was here last year when Washington won, when they lost, and they seem to seethe on that for a long time. Is this something that you seethe on? Are you already thinking ahead? I mean, what is that like?
Yeah, I think you see they were motivated. They talked about running it back, right, was their campaign. And disappointed that they got swept last year. This is going to sting for a long time for our players, but it will also motivate that core group that's back, that they know they can play championship level basketball. And again, I'm so proud that they have made themselves household names around the country, and everybody knows who they are now, and they know what they're about. And I'll go to war with that core group, with that team, any day, because I know they lay it on the line, and they love each other, they care for each other, they want it for each other. There's a bond in that locker room that is pretty special, and I think you need that in team sports in order to win.
Last question for Curt, as our Connecticut players are here.
Could you just talk a little bit about Emma Meesseman's performance, not just tonight, but the entire series, and how difficult it was to really just prevent her from going crazy like she did down the stretch?
Yeah, it's a chess match. Everybody. There's so many great players in this series. AT. I think you can see that she's one of the premier players in the world, and she's a tough matchup at our end. Emma's a tough matchup. EDD's a tough matchup. There's so many outstanding players. What I give credit to Emma is that she had stretches in the series differently. In the fourth quarter, in Game 3, it was pick and pop. Tonight, it was one-on-one isolations. And so that's what's special about Emma is she has a versatility to her game. But man, it's fun. You could pick out all 10 starters in this series and talk about how special they are and the special stretches that they had in this series. It wasn't one person for either team, and every game different people stepped up for both teams. I think it was good for the league. It may not have been a buzzer beater. We didn't have that kind of finish in any of the 5 games, but man, it was good offensive basketball, and it was laying it on the line defensively.
Curt, thank you. To our media, if you'd stay seated, our Connecticut
Thank you.
players are here. We'll